Okay, guys, welcome to the team call. So excited you guys are here. And for those of you that are maybe catching the recording, I'm very excited tonight that we have Miss Sapphire Ambassador Betsy Ehrenberger. And I had to ask her how to spell her or how to pronounce her last name because it's kind of a pet peeve of mine. I hate pronouncing names wrong. So I always ask if I have to guess on it. But she is so sweet to agree to do this for us. And I love watching you on Facebook, your journey, seeing you in the Jules page. And so I'm just tickled that you're in here tonight. So girl, you take it away. If you could just share your story and then maybe your top business tips.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, well, you were so sweet to ask me, and I love getting to meet new, Plexus people. So it's really fun. Okay. So I started like 3 years ago. I'm definitely not one of those fly to the top kind of people. I really like to stumble and fall along the way. So I started because I had a lot of autoimmune issues. I was on medication, and the medication was working. My blood work was good. Everybody said I should be perfectly happy, and I wasn't. I still felt terrible. I had a hard time getting out of the bed. I have two small children. They're 8 and 10 now, and I have a husband who is a pilot, so he's gone half the month. And I was a flight attendant before. That's how I met him. And so my husband literally did all the grocery shopping, cooking, cleaning, everything when he was home. And when he would leave, he would just cross his fingers that everything would be okay until he got back, because he knew that, my children knew, like would lie to my kids and be like, it's 8:00, and I put them to bed at 5, because I needed to be done. I needed to get back in the bed. So I really lived for probably a year and a half, just kind of in my bedroom. Before I kind of got sick, had a full life, and the person that my husband married was no longer there. And I started seeing posts on Facebook from my Diamond Upline, Leslie Weaver. And so I messaged her about it. I was like, so what is this going to do for my energy and everything? Because I feel bad. And she was like, oh, well, it can totally help you. It's helped a lot of people with autoimmune issues. So I went to my husband and I was like, I really want to try this Plexus. And he was like, no. He's like, you can't try it. He goes, I think you'll feel better if you just lose weight. Now, and I was like, well, that's what this is supposed to do. And he was like, well, it's not going to work. And I really wasn't even caring about the weight. It was about how I felt. I wanted to be me again. So my husband went and ordered on TV one of those weight loss commercial things that you hear. He was like, oh, I saw one of these are on sale. Ordered me food. And he was like, do this and you'll feel better. So like 2 months later, $400 or $500 later, I had lost 6 pounds and I felt miserable. Okay. It did nothing. And I was mad at him too. Like, that's not the right thing to say to your wife. And so he tried a bite of my food one day when I was gone. I don't know why he decided to try it, but he did. I guess it was God. And I walked in the door. He's like, this stuff tastes like cardboard. You're ordering Plexus. And I was like, okay. So when I signed up, Leslie tried to make me a preferred customer, because I really was skeptical about it, but I was so desperate to feel better that I would do anything. And I said, no, I just want the cheapest way. I just wasted all this money the last 2 months. So what is $100? So I bought my welcome pack, and she offered a 3-day trial, and she brought it over to me, and I was in the bed, and my husband said, you've got a friend here. And I was like, I'm not taking visitors today. I'm in the bed. And so he went down there, and he said, she's really don't want to see anybody. And Leslie said, your wife's going to get out of that bed. And day 2, I had more energy. So that's when I ordered my welcome pack. And I would love to say that it was just rainbows and butterflies from then on, but it wasn't. I had major gut issues. So I went through a lot of die-off and detox, and it wasn't easy, but there was something in me that knew that how I felt day 1, 2, and 3 was going to change my life. So I kept going. And so that's why I'm a big encourager of setting them up to try it for 3 months. Really get in, get your gut right. And sorry, y'all, I say a lot, so I'm really, really sorry. It's one of my things I'm going to work on in 2017. Okay, so my husband was like, I'm glad you're feeling, a little bit better, everything. He was like, but you need to find a way to pay for this. So I was on the team pages, and it was Melissa Darby was, I think, a Ruby at that time, or a senior Ruby. So I was looking at her team pages. I was looking at Celeste. She had just gone diamond, and just all of these crazy, success stories, and reading on Plexus journeys and everything. I was like, well, if all these people can do it, I can do it too. So I just started putting it out there on Facebook. I got the normal first customers and ambassadors, my mom, my aunt, my best friend from college, whatever. And I started getting my products paid for. Then a friend of mine from high school signed on, and she was actually my customer. She called me after 2 weeks, and she said, I love this stuff. I want to share it with others. So she joined in with me, and the two of us just sort of got to gold. And I'd love to say that I had a rhyme or reason. I know I watch people now, and that silver to gold is so hard. But I will say it happened to me sort of by mistake. And then, I even had to call my sponsor. I was like, I went gold, I think. Was this right? She was like, oh my gosh, Leslie couldn't believe it. She was like, you're gold. So, but I thought, because it was easy for me to get to gold, I don't need to buy into network marketing. I'm just going to post on Facebook. I have enough friends that are going to join me. I'm going to do this different. I'm not going to be the crazy person. I don't like MLMs. They're all scams. But this one seems a little different. And if it is a scam, I'm okay with it, because it's doing really, it's working for me. That is so wrong, but that's where I was. And I didn't, all the conference calls and stuff, because it was before Zoom, conference call, I would call in. Y'all, it's embarrassing now to think how bad I did everything. I would call in and mute it and watch The Bachelor. Okay, so that they would see that my phone number was on when they got the report, but I really didn't care what they had to say. I was like, So I somehow got to senior gold, and I will say it was from my friend from high school. She really did a lot, and I had a couple of little girls who I knew that were doing okay with it. But really, my level 1 Kelly was she knew network marketing, and she was doing it correctly. So I kind of got lucky. So I got to senior gold, and I earned leaders retreat. And I didn't go because I had tennis playoffs. Because see, with this Plexus thing, I was feeling so good, so I started playing tennis every day and doing all my stuff. And Leslie got so mad at me because I was sitting at senior gold, and I had lost my points. Like, I hit senior gold, and then I dropped down so quick. And because, a lot of people that were signing up, when I look back on it, probably should have been customers. They were signing up, and then after a month or two, they were gone and everything, because we weren't training them. We weren't doing what we were supposed to do. So Leslie kind of had a hard talk with me, and she said, you are in a great position where a lot of people would be, and you're depending on other people to work for you instead of you working your business. Until you can buy into network marketing, buy into Plexus, then you're not going to go anywhere. You're never going to go up the ranks. And so I believed in the products. I believed in myself. I really thought I could do it because I looked around, and friends in my school were doing it. Jamie Copeland was under Leslie too, and she was doing great. You know, I was seeing it left and right of people working for it. And so I started doing self-development. I started actually watching videos, besides the initial ones that you watch, you know, of Sonia Dudley and all that kind of stuff. Really reading books. I actually finally read GoPro, you know, and learning really started seeing the heart of the company. And it was about that same time, I guess. No, I have to back up, because right when I went senior gold, I went to convention, and I don't know why I went. My husband gave me $300 and I went. I was like, oh, I got a weekend away from my family. But while I was there, that's when Leslie went Emerald. I saw our leaders. I saw, I think it was Heather Burke actually talked at Dallas convention, and I was listening to her and I was like, oh my gosh. And so that sort of, but I still wasn't ready. I mean, y'all, it's so much about timing. It's so much about preparing yourself and everything. And so but so then Leaders Retreat, so that was in May or June. And then that fall Leaders Retreat, I skipped it. Then I decided I was going to get busy because Leslie made me mad a little bit. And I thought, well, let's see if I can prove her wrong and going through everything. I mean, I've gone to her so many times. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I know you couldn't stand me. So as I built my belief, as I learned about network marketing, as I really watched the successful people in Plexus, they really, they were buying into duplication. They were buying into going silver every month. They were buying into training their team. And that's what it was. I mean, it's not about having something magic that someone else doesn't have. It's just about, it's really, I mean, it's a copycat game. You know, it's just, you know, I really think the biggest tips are go silver every month, get 3 customers every month, continue that pipeline. Your warm market goes away quick. And you have to constantly be adding to your Facebook friends. You have to constantly be reaching out. And if they, and then as I was doing that, I started spreading my net wider and wider. And I ended up getting some amazing people. And so that was in October. In March, I went Ruby. So I planted seeds. I got my points back, got to Ruby in March, went senior Ruby in April. And then I went Emerald in July. So it really took me just doing my steps every single day and not pretending to do my steps. I did a lot of Facebook scrolling. I didn't. And so it's just, it sounds like you hear the same thing over and over, but it's so true. If you want hobby results, you don't do it every day. You might get some customers, you're going to get your products paid for. And if that's what your goal is, if that's your why, then that's wonderful if you just want to get your products paid for. But if you really want life-changing results, whether it's in weight loss, whether it's in health, whether it's in your business, you've got to do it every day. If all you have is 15 minutes, but you're doing 15 minutes of good time every day, then you're going to grow. I think that a lot of what I've found that helps me the most is before I look on Facebook and comment on my team page, comment on my friends' posts and everything, I take that time for myself. I get up before my children do, and that's when I message my prospects. It's when I do my follow-up. So find your time of day before you get bogged down with the other stuff to do your reaching out. And then when you sign somebody, I used to be so thankful that I signed somebody that I didn't want to bug them anymore. And so the follow-up was gone because I was like, I don't want to hurt, I don't want to offend them or do anything. And we need to follow up. They trusted us to do this, to try it out. And so if we follow up with them, especially that first 2 months and walk them through it, my big thing is when they buy that welcome pack triplex, if they start, I don't know if y'all do that kind of slow start chart for some people to help with, the die-off symptoms and everything. A lot of times at the end of that first month, they still have product. So, my big thing was I did not want a pantry full of stuff, and I don't want any of my ambassadors to have a pantry full of things they don't want, because that's just totally going to give them a bad taste. And what I have found works really well is when we sign somebody on with the triplex, at the time that we sign them up with their welcome pack, we're like, we're going to work on your gut the next couple months. Really want you to do the triplex. And then if you have leftover BioCleanse, or say you didn't take the probiotics, like you forgot to take it or whatever it is, you don't need them, then this next month, the second month, we're going to adjust your backup order. We're going to, if you place your order before your backup order goes out, put you on the X Factor, put you on Accelerator, whatever it is that their why is, what their health goals are. I think everybody needs to be on triplex and X Factor. That's just, to me, that's it. And then you can add in the weight loss stuff and everything without overwhelming them. And with this new 60-day money back guarantee, I mean, we have such a huge opportunity for people to try all 16 products that we have. So as you're following up with people, you can do that. You can say, you know what? I mean, if they've got cholesterol issues or whatever, let's try the Mega X next month. You've got 2 months to try it and see if you like it. And then the other thing is, and I'm sure just from, Kendall, I mean, I'm sure you get it. It took me a long time to get it. But pouring into your team and really caring about them, I think, is huge. Knowing their why, and building relationships with them. Because when you turn that mirror, we talked about this, at different events we've been to, but when you turn that mirror the other way and you're not thinking about yourself, amazing things happen. So when you're truly looking out for the best interest of your ambassadors and of your customers, then you can't go wrong. And part of that for me is, even if people say they want wholesale just because they want to be a customer, you're doing them a disservice not to teach them how to get their products for free. You really are. Because some people might not think $120 a month is expensive, but it is. It's a lot of money. And if they just have 3 customers, they can get those products paid for. And adding them on team pages. I don't know how y'all are about that, but I put everybody on a team page. If they don't want to be on, they can unfollow, they can take themselves off. But if Leslie had not put me on the Darby page and the Destination Diamond, because those were the only 2 pages at the time, I would never have gotten a glimpse of what other people were doing. That little seed that I could do this would never have been planted. I seriously would have just taken the products and kept it to myself. So really, and that's just part of that duplication. And when you put your people on the team page and then they put their people on it, everything, then it goes down. And that's kind of it. I mean, it's not a secret. It's truly not a secret. And then the other thing is, when you're putting people on a team page, you're keeping them off an island, because you want them to be able to get to know other Plexus people and be able to feel like they have a safe place, because nobody can do anything by themselves in this business. It's all about the teamwork. And I truly believe that on your worst day, if you have a group of people that can lift you up, your day's not so bad. And if you have a group of people that you can pour into on your worst day, your day turns out really good. So those are sort of my major, that's my story. That I am really working hard at building new legs right now, really, because Kendall knows you get so, because we're relationship oriented, you get so involved with your peoples and you love them and you enjoy their company, that it's hard to keep going out and signing more people and starting all over and all of that. But it's so, so important to never think you've made it. I think right now in this, and, obviously I'm a Sapphire. That's a really good position to be in, so I'm not like knocking my position. But right now on this journey to Sapphire, to Diamond, I feel like a silver ambassador right now. because I'm trying so hard to really work my business like I did from, when I started going from, 0 to 100 and building those new teams. And and also this is another thing, and you can tell me when I'm talking too much. Okay, now I forgot what I was going to say. When you're building those new teams, I don't know, but you know what? It might come back to me. But one thing I have seen is that you're never going to feel like you made it, because there's always somebody that, or something happens or whatever, and it kind of just cuts you off at the knees. And you're like, okay, it's a very humbling job, this job, because you get a lot of no's. And, but I think it keeps me hungry, those no's. And at Leaders Retreat last year, when Rita Davenport was talking, and I thought this was so good, and this has kept me, I think about it a lot, is the only difference between a diamond and an ambassador, that, or silver ambassador or whatever, is that a diamond has gotten more no's than the silver ambassador. It's just about keeping on. And if you ever have those thoughts of quitting, take them out of your head. Because when you decide not to quit, then you're not going to quit. You got to quit quitting. And then this is also another thing. Y'all, if y'all haven't made a dream board, make your dream board. I don't care how corny everybody thinks it is. I mean, I put together some fake one real quick one time because I had to do it for an assignment. And then it did nothing for me because I really didn't do it. And then I finally got down with scissors and glue and a poster board and magazines, and I created my dream board. And it meant something to me. I really worked on my why. And you've got to feel something. It's got to be that thing that keeps you going. And so, if you, in your why, when your why is big enough, you're not going to stop. And it's visualize where your next step's going to be and where your goal's going to be. And if you have to move the date, it's okay to move the date. I've moved my dates tons. But I don't change my goal. I just move my date, and I try to be better and try to learn more and look at what I'm doing and what was wrong and where I need to improve myself. And that's the great thing about, being in an amazing group of people like Plexus. Nobody expects perfection. Nobody does, because all of us are just normal people, but it's really just all about your effort. So that's
really awesome. So poured into right now. It's awesome. Well, you kind of touched on the one big question I had, because this kind of seems to be a theme among our team right now, but just consistency. And having to be consistent every single day. And so I just wanted to see if there is something that helps you first stay consistent, but also just keep that motivation, because feeling that desire to do it, something feeds that. So I don't know if you have some kind of technique or something that's been helpful for you.
No, I mean, I really, y'all can get off this call and think I'm crazy, but yeah, I get this mindset that if I don't do my business every single day, like we're going to lose our house or something. I mean, I really, and we're not going to, but you never know. But it's like, I truly have it, and that it is, if I don't do this, and my other motivation is, how many people I've met over the last 3 years who needed Plexus so much, but were too afraid to ask about it. And then when I reached out to them, they were like, yes, I need this so much. But they were too scared to ask, because people live in fear. I've decided that so many people are afraid. They're afraid of failing. They're afraid of success. They're afraid of what others think of them and everything. And if you're just that kind person that reaches out to them and really wants to help them, that you might be that lifeline for somebody. And if you don't reach out every day and keep adding onto that list, then someone might miss out on something they really need. So I think that scheduling is huge. keeping your list current, always adding on to that list. And for me, I get up in the morning. It's much better for me. I get really upset if my children wake up too early because I get up at 6 and I wake them up at 7. And if they get up before then, it really rocks my world because I have to kind of reset and come home and kind of start over after I take the kids to school. So, but I did, and I gave up TV all the way to Emerald. I gave up TV once I got busy after I quit, watching Bachelor and muting the conference calls. So I gave up TV. That was a big one because I was wasting a lot of time at night when I could be working my business. And so keep that list on a calendar. I write down when, like if somebody signed up and I need to follow up with them, I do keep on, and I'm not a good calendar person, but I do write that stuff down so I don't forget when someone's backup order is about to ship and all of that. And just if you can just keep your mindset of don't let the no's frustrate you. Let them fuel you. Because you really have a choice to look at it two ways. Oh my gosh, nobody wants Plexus. Nobody wants anything I'm selling. Now, none of my friends are terrible. They won't trust me. They want to, well, go find a stranger and get them to try. I had I still have friends that I'm like, y'all are crazy that y'all aren't doing this. And I have friends that just recently have signed on in the last 6 months and they're like, why did we wait so long? So don't, and also ignore your family if they're negative. I don't know if y'all have any skeptical family members, but I did. And I'm a middle child, so I just ignored them. But it wasn't always fun. And and now I took my skeptical parents, I took to Kona last year. And I put them in a room with my children, and then my husband and I in a room. And they now, they use Plexus. They love Plexus. They see how I've changed. They see that not only can I be a mom and a wife, but I can run a business. And and they're proud of me now. And they could start sharing it with some people, but they haven't done that yet. But anyway, really the consistency is key in taking your products and drinking your water. It's like the whole thing with Plexus is consistency. And also, if you really want to do well in your business, you've got to be a product of the product. And taking your product, and my team laughs at me all the time when I say this, but I really mean it. Taking your products and going to McDonald's isn't going to help you. It's just not. So you've got to make that effort to change your lifestyle and head to the healthy way. And this is kind of off the subject, but do not use weight loss only as your way to get to people. I really love the weight, the wellness, and the wealth, the three things, because wellness is huge right now. Most of my friends that sign on do not sign on for weight loss anymore. I really rarely even touch on the weight loss. It is all about gut health. It's about the omega. It's about the X factor. People love the edge because they love that extra energy and they don't want to have to go to coffee, get Starbucks or Monster drinks or any of that kind of stuff because they're healthy people. And that is a huge, huge part of that's the future of Plexus. That's why I think it's going to be a legacy company, because we do have products that address weight loss that work, but we also have products that every single person can use, whether you weigh 2 pounds or 2,000 pounds. Plexus can help you. So when you're approaching, don't ever prejudge that somebody doesn't need Plexus.
Yeah. Well, girl, I loved this call tonight. I'm so thankful I actually recorded it because sometimes.
Sure. Oh my gosh, I talked for a long time. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's perfect. Hey, I told you 20 to 30 minutes.
Okay.
It's perfect. But it's like you said. It's not like you said anything new. There's no magic formula that some of us have unlocked and others haven't. It's not that. There, so many of us though know what we should do, and we're consistent for about 3 days. And then consistency falls off, and it is just something, it's every day. And y'all, okay, those who know that we're doing a big IPA group, a 90-day IPA group, I've only done half my IPAs today. So guess what I get to do when I get off this call? I get to finish my IPAs, whether I want to or not, and I definitely don't want to. But I'm going to anyway, because it's that denying I could go watch a TV show, I could go read a book, but I got to get them done because of the bigger picture and having that why big enough that it drives you past that. Right. And so, it's just where you've got to get that consistency and knowing why you're doing this to drive you through everything else.
Right. So. And don't say you really screw up for 3 or 4 days and you're so far behind. Don't say, throw your hands in there and say, I can't do it. Start right back on it. Use a chunk of time, whatever it is that you have, but don't let a couple days of whether it's your diet, your spiritual walk, your Plexus business, whatever it is, don't let that derail you. Just get back on.
Yeah. So. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.